Why do you think we're seeing this show of goodwill from the US now?
So the United States is always trying to put a good face forward with Russia. At least it has been in the past 2 years. And President Trump has tried to show that he has good relationship with Vladimir Putin. But as we saw just under the surface, there are real tension points on substantive policy issues. And also the meddling in the 2016 election, that issue has not disappeared, and it's coming into the political dialogue now heading into 2020. So a nice show, but really underneath the surface, not a lot of commonality between the United States and Russia.
Let's talk a little bit about some of those substantive issues: Ukraine, Venezuela, Iran, and Syria. Is there actually any common ground from which that they can build?
It's hard to see where the overlap will be. Let's take Venezuela for an example. Right now, the United States, we have taken a position that's ensconced in multilateral backing by Western Hemisphere countries to have Juan Guaido take leadership in Caracas. But the Russians, instead of acceding to that, are sending advisors there. And that's a very difficult line. The United States, President Trump, he has not made a firm stand against that move by Moscow. And so Moscow now is able to leverage that and state that they're just supporting the current leader. And it's that kind of move we saw in Syria years ago. And in other issues, we're seeing it across the board. Ukraine, Moscow does not seem to want to give an inch. And the president has not been tough enough either. So Secretary Pompeo, he has rhetoric, but he doesn't necessarily have the backing of his commander-in-chief.
I was interested, Putin praised the recent Mueller report into Russian election interference, calling it quite an objective investigation. What's your take on that?
Well, it's extremely ironic that he saw vindication in that report, because Robert Mueller's first volume of the 2-volume report was extremely clear that Russia meddled deeply and extensively in America's 2016 presidential election. There's no other conclusion that one can make. And so clearly, Vladimir Putin is using talking points that sound very much eerily like President Trump's. The issue was not collusion alone. The issue was Russian interference. And there's no doubt here in the United States that that's what took place. And if Vladimir Putin thinks that this means he can involve himself in 2020, he's gotten signals from President Trump that that may not be such a bad thing. So Secretary Pompeo, to his credit today, it was good that he publicly laid out a marker about no Russian interference, but I'm not sure he has tools yet provided to him to prevent that.
We're going to have to leave it there. Thank you for that. That is the former Deputy Assistant for Secretary of State, Joel Rubin.